Welcome back to the substitute, guys. And now we're looking at the Euro semi-finals. Majid, how are you today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Just very, very tired. Talk to me about Italy and Spain. That was a fun game.
Yeah. Penalties, bro. Penalties. It's always scary. It's always squeaky bum time when it hits that 120 after the 120. Um, I honestly thought Spain looked really good. They looked far more impressive, in my opinion, than Italy. Having looked the eye test, having said that, I'm looking at some of the stats, and Italy had 4 shots on target to Spain's 5. Italy had 7 shots, Spain had 16. Spain had possession, 71%. Italy only had
Mm,
29. So my point with this is Spain looked really good. The eye test was there, but as usual, what I've seen with this team, they missed clear-cut chances. They once
yeah,
again there was a lot of 2, 3 chances which they did all the passing, schmessing. They got to the shot, and I don't want to go on Murata too much. He's already dealt with enough, to be honest, enough like
yeah,
stupidity. But he wasn't the most efficient. He wasn't a Fernando Torres in his prime kind of thing, and they were lacking that. Ultimately, I think they needed a goal scorer striker, as I've referred to before with Patrick Schick from Czech. They needed
yeah.
someone like that, or even Lewandowski if you want, Polish guy.
But but at
Maybe
the
you've heard
same
of him.
time, yeah, look, but at the same time, he got them two penalties. Like he was brought on as a sub, and it was his chance that took them two penalties. Like without him, they wouldn't have made it. I know you said they had a lot of chances, but I I feel it's a bit unfair to go after him.
No, I'm not going after him. It's Spain. It's the Spanish team. There was another guy
Mm,
in the 84th minute. He missed a clear, he buffed a clear cut shot. No one's around him. You should be able to at least create pressure and shoot, something where you're like sitting there watching, like, oh, that might go in, versus like, yeah, he just muffed it right off the offset. You're just like, I know he's missed it. And the Spanish team in general, I feel they were actually really good. They created a lot of chances throughout their games. They just did never capitalize. They didn't have that 4-0, 5-0 kind of thing. I do want to now move over to Italy and say with
mm.
29%, when you can score a goal with 29%, that tells me don't give them possession. Like with 29, they scored, right?
Yeah, like that was the thing. I think this is the first time in the tournament that Italy didn't have that much possession. And so it was a real challenge for them, and I thought they played well. They scored. They put Spain on the back foot. Um, I was impressed with them, honestly. Do you think that they can? Do you think that they can go all the way?
At
Just
this
looking at
point,
Italy. Just
at
looking at
this
Italy.
point, just looking at Italy, Italy should be one of the favorites. Looking at the fact that they've stood the test of time, they've stood quality opponents, they've stood quantity opponents, meaning penalties, extra time, regular time. They've grown up in this tournament. We had referred to them being a very young team early on, but I guess Bonucci and Chiellini, those two alone is 80 years of experience there. So maybe again, this is the right healthy mix. And credit to Mancini, more than like, he's embraced
Yeah.
the cultural footballing revolution, and the players have bought in, but he is the leader. The buck stops with him, and he's instilled that. He's installed a system, he's instilled a belief, and the players are following through. So Italy look really good. They're defensively, they still have that traditional defensive backbone, but going forward, we have never seen this national team like this moving forward. This crisp, this fluid, this both there is a team movement and team possession and passing, but there is also that individual brilliance with Chiesa or whoever.
I
Insignia, Immobile. You can't, like, it's coming from
they
all
look really good.
corners right now.
They look like a proper side, and I just want to give a shout out to Jorginho. I thought he was very, very impressive. He's been excellent this entire tournament, and I think he's actually. I'm not going to say he's been the best player in the tournament, but he's been one of the best players in the tournament. And I'm not saying that lightly. I think he's been very underrated player for them. I think he's been excellent.
I
Um,
concur. I concur.
Now we're gonna move on to the next one.
Tell me,
We're
is it
gonna
coming home, bro?
so
Let's just like.
so I want to say a few things first, right? So First off, England hadn't conceded a goal going into the semi-final, so defensively they were very impressive. Uh, During the match, Jordan Pickford broke the record set by Gordon Banks for most minutes without a goal being conceded for England. And then 5 minutes later, the Danes smashed a free kick home after he'd broken the record. It was a beautiful goal.
How British, how
It
perfectly
was
British.
it was very very well. The British would have been actually them break not being able to break the record, if I'm being honest. So this was the first real test for England. They deserve to go through on stats, but this was never as comfortable as they thought it was going to be. A lot of people thought that they were going to smash the Danes, like they thought they were going to smash Croatia a few years ago. England were the better side, but I'm going to give credit to Denmark here. They've had an amazing tournament. They controlled the middle of the pitch. They were dangerous up front with Dolberg and Braithwaite. I thought their midfield Holberg controlled it when they needed to. But as the game grew on, England controlled the match. They brought on Grealish. Kane was excellent. Kane was brilliant. Like,
Unfortunately, yeah.
well, I
I
mean,
don't like England. I want to state my
yeah.
bias. That's all. It's my bias. I don't like England. Like I don't like your fans and your media. By the way, like
Why?
if you guys are listening, but like you guys, I guess I don't like you guys and the media and your media. So
I know a lot of I know a lot of great England fans. All right, like I lived there for a long time. I know the great ones. I don't know the douchebags. All right, I know the great ones, and I know a lot of them are really really good people.
my
Uh,
little brother's an England fan, so that also makes it a little personal. I just want to add here again with my biases. Go ahead though. Let's talk football.
but Kane was excellent. Kane was creator. He had plenty of chances as well. For Denmark, I'm going to give a shout out to Kasper Schmeichel as well. I thought he was a wall. Um, Sterling, Sterling, look, he scored 3 goals in this tournament, and he's been very, very effective. But I swear he reminds me of Bruno Fernandes. And do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean by that? You and I have had this conversation where Fernandez has the stats to back it up, and when he plays well, he plays really, really well. But sometimes I really wonder if Sterling is just there. He stats the pads, and he's just effective, and he just does something, and that's why he keeps his place. He basically, I want to see how many dribbles he completed. I don't have those stats on me, but I want to see how many dribbles he completed because more often than not, he ran into a wall. He wasn't as effective. On the other wing, Saka was really, really good. Um, but England had a game plan. When it was 1-1, they brought on Grealish. And they went into extra time and they got a penalty, which was very, very debatable, by the way.
But
Um,
then there was an earlier call everyone keeps talking about, right? There was a missed call earlier that sort of makes up for it, if you will, or
I
whatever.
look, yes and no. Actually, I'm just gonna say no. Like I don't like seeing that happen. I don't like see Sterling was on his way down, and there was also a second ball on the pitch. I know it didn't affect play, but all of these things happened, and Sterling went down under minimal contact. Let's put it the other way: if this happened to England, they would be furious. Um, I think that VAR needs to have a look at this because he went down way too easily. It was never really a penalty. Even one of the commentators was like he went on the ground under minimal contact. But having
We're,
said that,
we're gonna
yeah,
shoot an entire episode, by the way, on this, the diving and the feigning, two different
absolutely,
episodes. Just
yeah,
FYI. Go ahead.
absolutely. We really want to talk about this, and let us know in the comments below if you want us to talk about this. Because and let us know your thoughts about this. By the way, like there was contact. There's no denying there was contact, so I can see why a penalty was given. But that doesn't mean that I really like the idea that a penalty was given, if you know what I mean. This is
Well,
the
like there was a debate. Remember in like 2000s EPL, the British players would always stay on their feet. They don't buy
and
these penalties.
they say
Ronaldo
that
kind of the foreign players do that. I just want to
I
throw that out there.
I disagree with that because I used to live there, and then they would always go, England players never dive, and they'd be so proud. And then I'd see Steven Gerrard dive in a friendly against Trinidad and Tobago, I think it was. I'm like, I don't know if that was the team, but like it was just it was a friendly match, and it was I think it was a friendly match, and I was just like, really, and it was like such a clear dive.
So what did you think of Gareth Southgate now? What do you think of
So
him with two
so
tournaments under his belt? How is he doing?
So look, I know a lot of English fans who absolutely love him because of his story, because of everything he's been through, and he's always been a wall. Like this, these are my principles, and he showed that in this match. By the way, he brought on Grealish, and then he took him off. Like
Yeah.
he took him off to bring on, I think Kieran Trippier it was, to play him at right wing back and shore it up. Like this is who he is. Like he could have brought on Rashford. He could have brought on Sancho. The game was stretched. He could have played on the counter and probably could have won it that way, but he chose to be defensive. Um, and by the way, that's a very legitimate tactic, especially when this is the first European Championship final for England, the first one. And this is the first time they could win in 55 years. So
So, well, let's
yeah.
move on to that. What's the prediction? Italy, England. It's official. That is the final. What's the predictions?
So someone in the comments in the previous video mentioned something. Home advantage does count, um, and it does play a big part. I thought
1966. Yes.
1966, but also they had two other
98.
tournaments. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they had 1996, I think it was, and they were playing and they lost against Germany in the semifinal.
The Euro
So
96. Yeah, for England. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So was it Euro? Yeah, Euro in '96. So look, I think it could play a big part, but I think it's Italy's to lose. Um, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. I just think that Italy have a superior squad. But let's be honest, England have been impressive, and let's take nothing away from them. Like they didn't concede a goal until Denmark scored. They went behind for the first time. They had the weight of expectations against them, like all this history against them. Um, Harry Kane is on form at the right time. Raheem Sterling is Bruno Fernandes, so he will be brilliant. Like it's stats wise anyway. But he's been good throughout the tournament. I'm not ripping on him. And I thought other players will always perform. Harry Maguire, Declan Rice, by the way, has been an unsung hero throughout this tournament. I thought they were all really, really good. They have a chance. They can absolutely win it for sure. But I am putting my money on England, but I've been wrong before. We've seen how far Denmark have come in this tournament.
So you're
So
saying Italy though, or are you saying England? I'm not sure. You've kind of
I'm saying, well, look, I'm gonna
like
go
you've
for
kind of
Italy.
given me both answers.
No,
Like
look, I'm good. I will say definitively Italy are gonna win. That's my prediction.
like
But
you think like yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think Italy are going to win, but I think England have been impressive, so I'm giving them a shout out. Like I'm not saying that they're a bad side, but I think Italy should win this one.
Um,
So
so I have one issue first off, just with England across two tournaments now with Gareth Southgate. England have lucked out with their opposition. They haven't had the most quality of
yes,
opposition. So once again, they're now this is sort of the first real test, real test. Italy, I don't care what you say, they've been tested by a couple of teams now at
yes,
this
they
point.
have.
It's not you can't compare it like that. That doesn't mean shout out to Denmark. I'm not trying to
They were excellent.
demote Denmark or anything. You guys punched well above your weight, and congratulations. I wish you had beaten. I was praying for you guys. If that matters. Um, with it is Italy's to lose. I do 100% agree with that. But I mean, we finals are always really like fluky, funky kind of things, right? It becomes really squeaky bum time from zero from the first minute. It's a squeaky bum time, and then it starts loosening up a little bit. If England, for example, can get a goal in that first 5-10 minutes, sneak a goal, it becomes game on. It really becomes a
Yes,
really interesting match. Um, Whereas if Italy score 1-0, I don't think it's as interesting. I think Italy can
if
after
they
the
score
Spanish
for,
test,
yeah,
yeah,
I think if they score, they can put up a wall. And I think
exactly.
that's when Southgate will have to throw caution to the wind. And I don't know if he'll ever do it, but like he has the riches at his disposal. When you have a bench, which includes Sancho, Rashford, Like,
When Sancho is gathering moss on the bench, yeah, like you have an arsenal at your disposal. There is an embarrassment of riches in English football right now.
yeah,
But it is Italy's to lose, absolutely. I do think they should be coming in confident and just play their natural game. They don't need to change anything. With England, they don't necessarily have a natural game, or their natural game is to go against their natural game. It's to reel it in and be very disciplined, right?
this is the way that they want to play, and you know what? This is an effective way to win. And they're not playing bad football. Like they have players who can make a difference. Um, but I'm still gonna go for it.
I hope Italy, but I actually am going to go because this has been a weird tournament. I'm going to go with the upset, unfortunately.
It has
Um,
happened, by the
I
way.
think England again. I have a sneaky feeling that like Kane, he might outpace that back Chiellini and
You're
Bonucci.
changing now.
No, I'm just thinking that there's going to be a test that they haven't faced either in this tournament with like a really tier one striker at like the top of his game. This is
That's
Kane.
true.
This is Kane's game
He's
to
on
not
form now.
score. Like this is
Yes,
his calling, sort of thing, from an English perspective. This is for Chiellini. This might just be another day. Like at that point, like he's lived 500 years. Like this just might be another day at the office. His last day in the office, maybe.
the age is
So
like fine wine. He's brilliant.
I'm gonna go with the upset, though. I do think England could pull this one off, and it would then prove the earlier sort of prophecy, which was that Italy, this was one tournament
Too soon.
too
Too
soon.
soon. Well, we'll see. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think is going to win it? Is it going to be Italy or is it coming home? Thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you guys after the final. Have a great one.
Peace out.